Hey guys, welcome to my deep dive series where today I am actually talking about organization and what my hybrid organization style is. Let me start off with, my brain does not do linear. If I try to force myself to do anything that's in a linear pattern, it literally will either go into task paralysis or it will literally send me in an error loop for I don't know how long. It depends on how severe it is. Picture it, my thinking is actually more kind of like a web. Right. With AuDHD, that means that I am a mixed bag of contradictions. I can be hyperactive and inattentive. I have severe sensory aversions, but I also have a very, very deep-seated need for structure and predictability. So I can just function day to day. For years, I tried linear systems and it was exhausting. I would start them, they would be great, then they would fall apart and then I had to start all over again. It was infuriating. And then one day I just had an epiphany and I was just like, all right, I don't work in the linear traditional way, so why do I think that these linear solutions are going to work for my brain? And after doing a lot of research and getting to know my neural type and strengths and weaknesses and strategies, I came up with the goal, or I came across the goal that actually ultimately helped me build the system that I use today is basically, it's reducing cognitive load. And practicing tasks and stuff like that, reducing cognitive load means I'm trying to dump everything out of my mind, externalize it so that it's not taking up bandwidth. But like with anything and with every project that I've ever undertaken, there is always unforeseen, factors and circumstances and results. And, one of them for me, so the challenge that I was facing was quite literally, if the system that I'm trying to use, it starts to become or feel like a chore, it is completely counterproductive. It actually adds to my cognitive load rather than reducing it. So the thing is that I had to find a system that supported both my ADHD and my ASD traits. Because when you have both those neural types, there's a lot of things that each one on their own don't have to deal with. And let me tell you, it's a unique set of challenges. To give you a little bit of a background, a little bit of a picture so you understand what I'm talking about, we'll talk about the category of novelty and routine. My ADHD brain craves novelty and new and exciting, while my ASD brain craves structure and predictability, just so that I can function. I've tried going without, and I am completely derailed. There's so many things that in my brain, I can't put them in chronological order, so I just end up error looping for hours, and that is exhausting in itself because it's something that I was fighting against myself. Now, focus and interactions. And this is just me on my own, in my own space, or when there's other people or environmental stimuli. So my ADHD and my ASD are always fighting. My ADHD can be disorganized and chaotic, and that infuriates my ASD side that craves and needs structure just to function. It's always a tug and pull. They're always fighting each other. My ADHD part, it has to be fun. I know I crave structure, but it has to be fun. It has to be almost like a game that has, rewards in the end to keep me motivated, to keep me actually focused with it. Now, the worst one is stimulation. Being in a room that's completely dead silent is so distracting and it's almost painful. And then having it be too noisy is also overwhelming and it's distracting, and can also be painful at times. So I have to have noise, but the right kind of noise. And it has to be loud enough to drown out everything else, but can't be too loud because then I lose focus. And don't even get me started on the visual clutter. I have to have things just so, but it can't be like a plain desk with nothing because then it's boring. All right, I know that I've explained all this, so now with that in mind, it's really simple the way that I ended up structuring everything and integrating everything. Everything digital and physical is organized in two main categories, which is personal and professional, or work, or that has to do with my company. I guess you can basically think of these as like the two main anchors of the web. And then when you think about those two anchors, basically they each branch out into other subcategories. Now, if it's date-based, I nest year, month, and I actually use the numbers before I use the month name so that it's sorted it automatically in chronological order. Then if it's category-based, then I do the category, the year, the month, and so on and so forth. And I keep everything in one centralized place so that I have one place to look for it in an external hard drive. And then if I need to share with other devices or need something to be portable, I'll share it with the cloud or with a flash drive. Yes, I still use flash drives. And this system, which is a combination of the PARA method, the Johnny Decimal system, and then the date method of organization. And this is how I'm integrating it with the neurodivergent strategies that I have researched and come across and trialed and errored myself. Now, Excel. I know I mentioned this before. Excel, that's where I started off with. So I use it to automate like the routine stuff, the stuff that can sometimes be boring, finances, errands, quarterly stuff. And that actually helps with my soothe my ASD because it gives me structure. I can see the plan. I understand what's coming, so I can plan accordingly. For my day-to-day, I use a digital planner. I use that in combination with a time calculator or schedule calculator, which helps me map out what my day can look like and helps me with time blindness because I can see if realistically I have enough time to do all the things that I'm planning to do. I plan everything in 15-minute increments. If something takes less than 15 minutes, I task chunk them, which task chunking is another, is one of the strategies. I task chunk them together by location. So if there's a few things I have to do in the bedroom, I'll group all those together and I'll give myself 15 minutes or 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, however long I'm estimating based off of what I'm calculating in the Excel calculator. I know it sounds like it's a lot, but honestly, it's been the best solution that I have been able, because it makes it realistic for me. I'm able to visually see how long it's going to take me so that I can tie reality to a thought. Now, ADHD brain gets bored very easily. It creates novelty, it creates excitement and change and stuff like that. So in order to help make this system more engaging, what I ended up doing is I created custom stickers for all of the tasks that I do regularly, or at least regularly enough that I would need to plan for them. And I created fun icons, fun stickers. It makes it so much easier to be able to look at a to-do list or look at my planner and not have to read just like a dull list. It's a engaging set of pictures and stickers and stuff. Now, my task chunking strategies actually really come in handy when I'm having to do chores. I try to pair non-fun chores with fun chores or fun things to do within a specific area. So I structure it by room. So the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, the living room, my office. I try to chunk them together. Another little hack that I do, actually, once I leave the bedroom, I try to do everything I need to do in the bedroom in the morning that I need to do, so that when I step out into the living room, I put my shoes on, and this is called the cognitive nudge that I learned. So basically, it's physically sending a signal in my body that, hey, it's time to get to work, so let's focus, so I don't just sit on the couch like a couch potato and watch TV all day in task paralysis. Another thing that I incorporate in the system is using timers. Now, it's not just one timer, and I know I tend to forget what I put timers on for, so I have a note on my desktop that tells me what timers I set up. So I start off with the main one, which is the total allotted time that I'm giving myself. And then I have a secondary timer of a specific task that I'm actually, that is my goal within that time frame. And then I have basically a time tracker, so I'm aware of the time. So it's 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes it'll ping and I'm like, okay, I have this much time left. Okay, and then it'll ping, I'll have this much time left. That way I'm not stuck on one thing and I can actually move along my schedule and get the things done that I actually planned for. Because I do tend to hyper-focus a lot, I have to include breaks, like scheduling breaks and meal times and stuff like that in my system. So I'll go ahead and do that. I also prioritize doing the things that I don't like to do very early on when I have the bandwidth to do them. That way I'm not leaving them to the end, which is what I used to do, and then they wouldn't get done for like 2 weeks. And then I also I had done this before and I kind of fell off of it, but I have reintroduced the 2-minute rule. So if the task or something that I come across takes me less than 2 minutes, I do it right then and there. But if it's basically going to be a chain reaction that's going to leave me on a side quest that'll derail me for 2 hours, I get it out of my brain, I externalize it, I write it down on the notebook that I was talking about earlier, one of the notebooks, so that I can come back to it later and it's not taking up valuable bandwidth. So in a nutshell, that is the system that I have in place. I know it sounds like it's a lot, but the reality is this has been years of trial and error, and it's just something that works for me. It's not perfect, and it's always evolving. The more I learn, the more I grow, the more information I come across. But at least for the first time in my life, I'm actually feeling like I am not fighting my brain. I'm actually working with her. We are working in harmony, and that is such a great feeling. It's such a great feeling because I'm actually working with the architecture of my brain instead of trying to make it fit into a box that it wasn't designed for. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm so happy that you stuck it out to the end. I really hope that you come back next week for another deep dive episode. Have a good one.